Holy shit, Dean fucking Ambrose is the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. This is my Money in the Bank review. What a freaking ending to a brilliant pay-per-view. Holy shit, we've got to start by talking about the main event. It couldn't have gone down any other way. It just had to go this way. Holy shit, this was a perfect ending. Absolutely perfect. We've got to talk about the main event to start things off because it was just amazing. How it went down was just perfect. Seth Rollins against Roman Reigns. We all wanted to see this match. Decent match. I think AJ and Roman Reigns, they had slightly better matches. The entertainment value to their matches was slightly better, but this was still a solid match, a decent match. I was really surprised when Seth Rollins won. We want unpredictability in the WWE. That's exactly what we got. I was really shocked when Seth Rollins won. I was even more shocked when Dean Ambrose came from behind. We've never seen somebody ever do that with a Money in the Bank briefcase. From behind, cashes in, minutes later, actually successfully cashes in and wins the WWE Championship off Seth Rollins. What a brilliant story. Seth Rollins cashed in on Roman Reigns 2 years ago at WrestleMania 31. Then this time, Dean Ambrose cashes in on the new champion Seth Rollins after him returning and becomes the new WWE champion and technically steals it off Seth Rollins. It all comes full circle. What a brilliant story. Amazing storytelling. This is going to be an amazing triple threat feud from all Shield members. We've been asking it for years. We really want to see a triple threat match between the Shield and we're finally getting it. New WWE champion, 2 championship changes in a matter of minutes. It doesn't go down any better than that. Vince McMahon, it seems like he's finally pulling the trigger on Dean Ambrose. He should have won the championship years ago. He's finally done it. This is going to be amazing. It tells a brilliant story. Roman Reigns has been really iffy as champion. Nobody was ever really keen on him winning it in the first place. So now we've got Dean Ambrose as the WWE champion. We don't know how long he's going to hold it for. Everything's really unpredictable at the moment. We have no idea how it's going to go down. Crazy stuff to end the pay-per-view. I absolutely loved it. Tells a brilliant story. They're finally pulling the trigger on Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose comes from behind like only Dean Ambrose would do, cashes in 50 minutes later after winning it and takes the title just like that. That is just Dean Ambrose all freaking over. It didn't need to go down any other way. That was the perfect way to end the pay-per-view, and that's exactly how they did it. So it was a decent main event. I think AJ's matches were slightly better, but it was still a pretty solid match. The best move of the night was Seth Rollins reversing the spear into a flying pedigree. That was amazing. That should have been the finish to the match, but he hit a spear just a little bit later after that. That should definitely have been the ending to the match because that would have been amazing. What a move that was. What a match that was. That was absolutely brilliant. That was the match we wanted to see. It definitely delivered. Another match which delivered was the Money in the Bank ladder match. That was great. Money in the Bank ladder matches are always really good. They certainly wasn't the best Money in the Bank ladder match we're ever going to get, but there were so many really awesome moments in this match and it was really entertaining. There was just way too many things to talk about in this match. I mean, you had all 3 guys. You had Sami Zayn doing a haluva kick to all 3 people. You had Cesaro doing uppercuts to everybody in the corner. You had Kevin Owens doing his bowling ball to everybody in the corner. You had at one point Cesaro jump off a ladder onto the second rope and do a spinning European uppercut in the middle of the air. Crazy stuff. You had Alberto Del Rio do his finisher onto a ladder. That was absolutely mental. There were so many great spots in this match. It's just really hard to remember all of them. Money in the Bank ladder matches, they always deliver. They're always great. We had a code breaker off the ladder, which was amazing. A cross arm breaker from the top of the bloody ladder. This match had everything. It was really good. People were complaining that it was slightly predictable that Dean Ambrose won. But if you watch the ending towards the pay-per-view, it makes absolute sense. They couldn't have done it any other way. This told a perfect story. It was slightly predictable from what they did on Monday Night Raw with the Shield, but it made perfect sense. It made for a brilliant story at the end of the main event. They couldn't have done it any other way. People wanted to see Kevin Owens win, but I think it tells a much better story, Dean Ambrose winning. We're getting a Shield triple threat. Finally, we've been asking for it for years. This ladder match was great. This was the best match of the night. Really enjoyed it. Dean Ambrose won. Perfect ending to the main event. Holy shit. Other matches we've got to talk about. Rusev against Titus O'Neal, which was surprisingly actually pretty good. Titus O'Neal turned up and actually put on a pretty good performance. He put on some really new moves that we haven't seen from Titus O'Neal. I thought it was just going to be a classic slugfest where Rusev dominates the whole of the match. A squash match where Rusev gets the win, and that's that. But Titus O'Neal, he turned up. He did some really hard-hitting moves. It was really good. This was a really good match. I want to see this match again because there was lots of brute force in this match. It was violent. It was kind of ugly at times to watch. This was actually surprisingly a pretty good match, and I want to see this match again. We've got to talk about AJ Styles against John Cena. Brilliant match. Finally, AJ Styles gets a win on a pay-per-view. It's been since February against Chris Jericho since AJ Styles last won on a pay-per-view. So boy, oh boy, it's about time. This match was really good. We waited 15 years for this match. Was it worth it? I think so. This match was phenomenal. Great pacing towards this match. Great chemistry, really good wrestling. If you blinked, you would have missed a hell of a lot. This was a really good match. It definitely delivered. A lot of people are kind of angry that the club interfered. Then AJ Styles got the win. The referee was kind of knocked out, which looked a bit strange. But at the end of the day, this is the first chapter of maybe 3 or 4 chapters in this matchup. So it makes sense for AJ Styles to win in kind of questionable circumstances. It would have been nice for John Cena to put over AJ Styles clean, but John Cena's just returned. You don't really want John Cena to lose cleanly in his first match since coming back. And at the end of the day, AJ Styles is a heel, so it makes sense for him to win in this fashion. It would have been great to see AJ win clean over John Cena, but there's no way Vince was going to book John Cena to lose against a TNA guy clean in the middle of the ring. This is the first chapter of many. AJ may win clean later down the line, but for the first match, John Cena's just returned. I don't think there was any chance AJ was going to win clean. At least he got the win. At least John Cena didn't win and bury AJ Styles here. I think this was a great match. It was awesome. I think they could do a little bit better. It wasn't amazing or outstanding, but I think it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was worth the wait. It delivered. And I'm really looking forward to the next few matches because I think this could be the best feud of the year, if not in the PG era, because this is going to be absolutely amazing. The first match delivered. I can't wait for Chapter 2, Chapter 3, or even Chapter 4, because this is going to carry on for a few months, and it's going to be great. Other match we've got to talk about, Apollo Crews against Sheamus. Pretty good match. Apollo Crews going over Sheamus makes complete sense. That's great for Apollo Crews. He sort of lost a little bit of momentum in the last few weeks because he disappeared from TV, but beating a former world champion here is great. He won with a roll-up, which was kind of surprising. I thought Apollo was going to win cleanly here. He didn't, which kind of suggests we're going to get a rematch, which I don't mind because this match was great. I want to see a rematch, which is great, so it looks like we're going to get that. But Apollo Crews going over a former world champion is great for Apollo Crews. He looked good in this match. Sheamus looked good as well. Both guys looked good, so overall it was a pretty good match for both of them. Charlotte and Dana Brooke defeating Natalya and Becky Lynch. That was kind of the shocker of the night. I don't see the point of Charlotte winning here, considering it was a non-title match. Nobody really cared about this match. You're not going to remember this match in about 3 or 4 days. Natalya turning heel at the end on Becky Lynch makes absolutely no sense. They were besties at the start of the match. Now Natalya's a bad person. She turns on Becky Lynch. It doesn't make a lot of sense. They would have been better just ending this match and forgetting about it. It was an okay match. I would go as far as saying it was good, but at the end of the day, nobody really wanted to see this match. Pretty forgettable matchup. So at the end of the day, nobody really cared. The next match, which really nobody cared about, was Baron Corbin defeating Dolph Ziggler. Finally, Baron Corbin, it seems like he's defeated Dolph Ziggler here, and he will finally move on to something else. This feud has been going on for 3 months now. It was never good in the first place. Why this feud is still going on at the 3rd pay-per-view in a row, it's like a running joke. It feels like a running joke. But at the end of the day, this match was probably one of their best matches, but nobody cared. Nobody wanted to see it again. It was just not that impressive. Their match the night after WrestleMania was not impressive, so why they're still doing this feud 3 months later, I have no idea. The fans were chanting boring through it. They just never really got out of first gear this whole feud. So why it was still carrying on 3 months later, I have no idea. But Baron Corbin winning here, Dolph Ziggler putting over the younger guy, makes complete sense, and that's great for him. Lastly, the Fatal 4-Way match for the Tag Team Championship. This was a match of two halves. I thought the first half of the match was pretty slow, pretty boring. The second half of the match was really good. It got really pacey towards the end. Lots of fast action, great tag team action. I really liked the ending towards this match. But the actual ending, was really, really crap. The club hit a magic killer on Aiden English. Then the New Day hit Carl Anderson with the Midnight Hour. And that combination took about a minute. And then after they hit the Midnight Hour, the New Day then went to Aiden English, who was hit by the club's magic killer about a minute earlier. They then pinned Aiden English to win the match, which made absolutely no sense because Aiden English was on the floor for a good minute before the New Day pinned him. So surely he would have recovered from that finisher. So it made absolutely no sense because the New Day hit Carl Anderson with the Midnight Hour and you were like, oh, they're going to win with that. But then they went and pinned English because you forgot that he was actually the active man and they won the match. So it was kind of like a little bit of an underwhelming finish, a bit of a strange, weird finish. I'm sure they could have thought of something a little bit more exciting, a little bit more interesting, and something that actually made a bit of sense. And I was kind of surprised the New Day are still champions, but they were plugging on to the fact that the New Day have nearly broken the record for the longest reigning champions. So it does kind of feel a little bit predictable that they are actually going to beat the longest reigning tag team champion. So it was a little bit predictable since they kept plugging that throughout the match. I thought the club could have done with a big tag team championship win here now that they've just formed up with AJ Styles. I thought the club were going to win here. AJ Styles was going to win his match and it was going to be a bit of a whitewash for the club. But that didn't happen. The New Day still are the tag team champions, which I'm not sure. I think it could have done with a little bit of a change here. It feels like the New Day have beaten everybody. They beat everybody here. So what else is in it for the New Day now? I'm not really sure. It could have done with a little bit of a mix-up. But at the end of the day, it was a solid match. A lot of pacing, but it's all about the main event. Dean Ambrose walking around with the WWE Championship on tomorrow night's Monday Night Raw is going to be a huge freaking story. The main event went down perfectly. Seth Rollins surprisingly wins the title, then Dean Ambrose even more surprisingly cashes in 50 minutes later, steals the title like Seth Rollins did to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 31. What a story, what a main event. It's all going to be about Dean Ambrose. This Money in the Bank pay-per-view, I thought the first half was a bit sloppy, a bit sluggish. It was like they were trying to get the bad matches out of the way before the real deal, like AJ against Cena and obviously the main event. So overall, I think the first half was pretty dull, pretty boring, but the second half really brought it to life. The ending with Dean Ambrose winning, I think really did save the pay-per-view. So for me, Money in the Bank's going to get a 7 out of 10. I think that's a solid rating. Some really good matches. AJ against John Cena, the Money in the Bank ladder match, the main event, and Dean Ambrose walking out with the WWE Championship. Perfect ending. Thanks for watching, guys. Hit that like button. Let's go for 300 likes. Take care. Spiky hair.